Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another podcast. 2 days on a pod.
Best podcast in the world.
Getting some traction. Had a couple of friends come up to me and say, "Oh, do you do a podcast? I'm like, "All right, no photos yet.
No autographs, please. No autographs.
Can't wait to be on a night out and just someone just come up to me. Oh, I love the podcast, man. Like, oh yeah, cheers, but."
That had to be a top 10 feeling, surely.
Yeah, I do want it to happen, but at the same time, I'm just like, fuck. I just hopefully it just stays like nice and
stays
humble
low key
for a while. Yeah, but I hear you've had a big win over the weekend, or not over the weekend, over the week.
Over the week, we love midweek horse racing, but just what cheeky $2,000 win off the $15.
So what was the horse and what was the race?
Shout out to Narrogin. You know, there's a regional country betting.
Narrogin, don't even know where that is.
I got a tip from someone that basically said race 7 Narrogin, number 11, can't go wrong.
Is it like a mate messaging or on an online
database
somewhere?
No, it was a mate. It was a mate.
Yeah.
And so they shout out to them because they really set it up. But wasn't too confident, so I only put 15. But kind of wishing I put more on.
How much did they put on? Do you know?
They put like 60, but they won like $4,000 or something like that because they got like lower odds. But
yeah, that's sick.
You can't complain with $2,000, can you?
Is that your best win as well?
Oh, it had to be by far. Yeah. What's your biggest bet win?
Oh, fucking $100. I only bet on footy. I haven't got onto the horses yet. Probably should. And knowing the footy culture and the cricket culture is everyone loves a punt, and even at work now, everyone loves to punt at work. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to start going on the horses.
It's too elite. It sounds kind of bad, but I used to sit there at my old job and just see what greyhound races were running next, or just you pass at the time pretty well.
Have you done anything with the money yet? You put it straight to the bank account and not gonna touch it, or?
Well, I put $1,000 into just savings and the other 1,000 into crypto. Put it straight into the Binance account.
That's very good. All right, roll the intro. Alrighty.
Big round of footy this weekend.
It was insane. I was a bit busy this weekend, so I didn't get around to much of it, and I didn't get to watch my beloved D's because obviously I have to go down to Showies and train the house down there, show all the little baby sharks what it's like, baby dolphins, what it's like to train with a shark like myself. But anyway, Melbourne got the win. Not even worried. I think I was watching.
It's a pretty confident win.
Yeah, or I was checking the scores. You know when you go for a little drinks break and the coach starts screaming at you, "Boys, 1 minute, get back on track." And I'm just like trying to look up the results or the halftime score. And then someone was watching it whilst I think they were injured, so they were watching it. And I was pretty confident when it was like 40 Melbourne's way to, I didn't even know, Port didn't even score a goal until the third quarter, which is a record for them.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Like we've said it every week since the start of the season, but it's so disappointing seeing them be bad. I mean, I had high hopes for them at least.
Yeah, well, I had very high hopes for them, and I'm still disappointed because I mention it every week that I was going 50-50, Brisbane or Port to have a really bad season. Port are having a disgusting season at the moment, but
even worse than anyone really thought. I mean, first 2 games, you're like, all right, start of a bad season, but they'll be able to turn around sometimes. Now you're just like, you don't even know what you're looking at anymore.
Exactly. And it doesn't help. They should probably be like Adelaide. So, not sure who they have next week, but hopefully they might get on the ball at some point. But yeah, Melbourne are just cruising their way through. Got GWS this week at the G, so get around them.
GWS at the G?
Yeah.
We taking Melbourne. That one, I'm taking Melbourne now pretty comfortably.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, Melbourne lost to GWS at the G last year.
Right.
And Melbourne only lost a handful of games. And the only team that didn't beat last year was Collingwood, which is a bit funny because they didn't even make finals. But yeah, Melbourne lost to we lost to Adelaide somehow. We drew to Hawthorn somehow. Like all the little shit teams. I think we lost to Western Bulldogs. And
you beat the Western Bulldogs when it mattered though, really.
Yeah, exactly. So we played them 3 times that year. So, and we beat them and then lost to them and beat them. So yeah, we did beat them when it was worth it. Geelong game down at Cardinia Park. That went well for the Cats, I can say. But I was hoping Brisbane were going to get up.
Yeah.
Do you remember the controversy last year where Zach Bailey got Blitzkars like honed the ball right in the square pretty much, and the umpire called it play on, went for behind, and Geelong ended up winning. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Well, it's happened again. So I don't know if you watched it, but
Didn't catch too much of the game, but
so Geelong were up by 3 points about 7 minutes to go. So there's a lot of time in it. Brisbane were coming home strong. And Hawkins, having a decent game, goes and pushes Andrews in the back, and they call it play on. And then the way that the umpire... Hawkins goes on and scores a goal, right? They go 9 points up, and it's pretty much like 7 minutes to go, and it just kind of destroys the whole momentum of Brisbane. They end up losing. But the way that the umpire described the call was ridiculous. So
how is that not being called? Holding that push in the back.
and I
What?
And I want to... right after that, we'll press pause. It's out, but I want to get the actual commentary because it's ridiculous. Like the umpire, explained it in the most ridiculous way.
The commentators, I don't know if they're told they're not allowed to have a go at umpires or anything like that. But you see some of the commentators trying their absolute hardest to justify what the umpires are saying on the field, and it just does not make any sense.
So he's talking to the umpire. How's that on the back? So he says you're both moving forwards, but he's held his grounds. How's that? They're both different.
Yeah.
The umpire is completely stuffed up there with that call.
That is not the finest moment for that guy's umpiring career. Holy damn.
But I don't know. I got really worked up about that one call. And as an umpire, like he used to do back in the day, probably bit, I don't know, not sure about that call either. I guess that's an egregious call. That's disgusting that they didn't get called push in the back. Anyway, we move on to a bit of a scare at the SCG. North, I didn't watch this game. I was playing like myself, and
You're playing with yourself?
I was playing with myself. I was playing footy with the boys up at Wanneroo, but the buddy North Melbourne, I saw them up by like a few goals with, I don't know how long to go, maybe like a goal with 10 minutes to go. And I was like praying that they held on. There's a few boys that were unhappy in the change rooms because they were obviously big punters and probably put the whole house on Sydney to win. But
do you reckon North are getting a win this year?
Yeah, they'd have to. Every team gets a win. Like you don't go.
Well, wasn't it a couple years ago that Adelaide didn't get a win?
No, they did.
They did?
Yeah, 100% they did. But it's so hard. Like 22 games to not get it. Like you have one team at least drop off and don't show up.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, and North Melbourne, don't forget, did beat West Coast a couple of games ago. So
oh fuck, they did too. I completely forgot. Fuck.
I was trying to remember. I'm like, oh, there's only one team that's like hasn't won yet. It's Port. So
is that true?
I'm pretty sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. And that shows how traumatic the West Coast loss was for me. I completely put it out of my memory.
Yeah. So, but no, generally because like there's a team that just drop off like at least one game. And then normally, like even moving forward closer to the end of the week, we had like Carlton getting humbled by the Suns.
As if. Look, Suns have a soft spot. Matt Rao,
Yeah.
insane. Noah Anderson, crazy. I still wanted a Carlton to win that so badly.
Yeah. Well, Carlton were going for the forward zip start, and I'm a Carlton fan, and I know lots of Carlton supporters, and I know how desperate they are for a win, and I'm just like, nah, hold it off for a year. Melbourne had to wait years for a grand final win, and then Suns can genuinely use the like Metricon as like a fortress. Like, you know, when teams come over to WA and like don't want to play West Coast at their home ground, like I genuinely think Suns can use. I know they're versing Carlton and it's Carlton, and then they've played Melbourne up at Metricon and put in a pretty good effort as well. But as soon as they started to use that as a fortress, and I genuinely reckon they could sneak into finals, but.
Do you reckon Gold Coast are going to sneak in?
Not this year. They need Ben King. But as soon as Ben King comes back...
Massive piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, maybe like a few... I don't know. Maybe next year, I reckon they might be able to sneak in. Depends. It depends how many injuries they get at the end of the day. But yes, up the Suns. Gotta love that. Can't wait. Dylan's got his Suns jumper over here in Perth, and I've still got mine in Melbourne. So hopefully I'm gonna get that shipped over soon because I'm missing that.
All aboard the Suns train.
Can't sleep at night without that jumper. And then the Pies against West Coast.
Dropped off?
Nah, I don't know what happened, but I was watching it. I watched the last quarter, and Collingwood are meant to be. They had a good start. I must admit that.
I think it was a surprising start to the year. A lot of people have them down, coming off with a couple wins.
Yeah,
it was a good start.
And I just I guess I just got a bit of. I don't know. I think I just hate playing West Coast. Not gonna lie.
Just flashbacks to 2018.
Pretty much, yeah. So, the West Coast young kids are getting it done, which is good to see.
The West Coast B team, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's going to be even more of a B team now that Nick Natno is out for the remainder of the season.
Nick Nat's out.
But I guess on a lighter, more positive note, for the first time in podcast history, both of our teams have won on the same weekend. So that's a moment in history right here.
We should do something to celebrate. Or we should do a giveaway if both teams win. We're meant to be not biased as well. I refrained myself saying, we won on the weekend, Melbourne won. I tried so hard, legit 2 minutes ago, say, didn't want to say we. And it happens on TV all the time. I can't remember if I brought up on the podcast last week, but I might have been talking to you. And Buckley always says we.
Yeah.
Even though he's on Fox Footy. And hopefully, I actually do try my best not to say, we, or be biased towards certain players, even though I love Clayton Oliver and Jake Bowie. But
you dyed your hair to be the exact same as Clayton Oliver hair.
Actually, yeah.
That's not your natural hair
colour. Maybe, we should definitely do a forfeit, dye your hair again.
Oh my.
That's actually...
Well, go back to the platinum blonde. For people that don't know at home, in year 11 of high school, I had... I looked like a protein ball, really, didn't I? Frosted tips.
Had the frosted tips. And then, they did look good.
Bring them back. It's a statement.
I just see the slick back photo of you, and it just reminds me of Malfoy, Harry Potter. Also, shout out, in my predictions, I said that Willie Rioli would relapse, but he's actually having a very good season. 3 on the weekend, I'm pretty sure.
Goals are his drug now.
Exactly. So shout out Willie Rioli, actually doing really well, mate. And then what else we have? We had the Dons. Dons look better without a coach. So, is it Ratton or Rutten? No, it's Rutten. So Rutten's gone down with COVID. And it's happened to a few coaches this year. Freo have been about their coach for a couple of weeks. And it seems to be that if your coach goes down with COVID, get a new assistant coach in, and they do a good job, because I'm pretty sure all the teams that have done that this year, with Voss, they're all 100% wins.
That's about just late in the season. If you need a win, coach goes down with COVID, you're guaranteed a win by that stat.
Exactly.
That's the type of stat that our good mate who loves putting a 27 multi on would absolutely froth.
Yeah.
We had. Are we naming names?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. We have a gambling addict friend. What? Ridget?
Yep.
Raj. We got a message. So he messaged us independently of each other. There was not a group chat or anything. I got a message from Raj on Tuesday, and he goes, "What do you reckon about this multi for the weekend?" I open up the picture, and it is a 27-leg AFL multi before teams have even been announced for the weekend.
Vlog. I got the exact same thing. So, he's not a footy player at all. He does watch the footy a little bit. I don't even know who supports. He kind of froths Freo.
I think he said he was a Freo fan. He's previously said he's a Freo fan, but we don't hold him to it. So he sends a 27-leg multi. I don't even know what the odds were. Probably 100 plus or something like that. And it's on a Tuesday. No team selections. And sometimes you don't need team selections. It's just vibes. You just get this player's gonna have a good weekend this weekend.
But when you're going, the teams have my favorite player, Ben Brown. Obviously went down with COVID and hadn't been named in Melbourne's team yet, and he's legit the first leg of the 27-leg multi is Ben Brown to kick a goal. I'm like, mate, he didn't even play last week, and he's not guaranteed to play this week, and in fact, he didn't play. So the very first leg void, and it definitely did not come true. I think
look, he's got a specialty of putting $1 on for $100 odds, and as soon as one of them hits, the greatest thing that's ever happened. Yeah, it's only those $1
so our
stakes.
tip, if you're a gambling addict, our tip is to wait for the teams to come out and even just do a little bit of homework. Just find
If you're
out.
a gambling addict, my tip is always chase your losses because they can't run forever.
Exactly. And perfect example.
I did it. I'm living proof of that statement.
Has won $2,000. And let's see if he does it again before he loses. Before he chases the losses. But shout out Raj. And I have another tip. Can't remember what it was. It was about betting. Oh yeah, we were having a little joke. We went and watched the F1s at the Cass, which we'll mention a bit later. But we were saying that just because West Coast have won the last 10 games at like Optus Stadium against like a mid-table team, like say Collingwood or something like that, doesn't mean they're gonna win 11th time in a row. Like,
all right, for context for everyone at home, Raj, when we went to Gold Coast versus West Coast, first round of the season. He's trying to convince us to hop in his multi, and one of the actual points he gave us was, West Coast have won for the past 8 years their round 1 game at home. What type of stat is that? But that sold him on his multi, and it didn't hit. No. But it was only because Nick didn't know it wasn't because.
Yeah. Which like, I guess it happens in kind of EPL as well. Like EPL's been going on for ages, and like.
What a game last night, by the way.
Liverpool
City game?
Yeah,
good game. I watched it, yeah.
Yeah. And normally I don't watch, like...
No, neither. I was like,
other teams, yeah.
It wasn't like the first 12 minutes or something like that. City had a goal on the board. And
yeah, I think it was 5th minute, De Bruyne.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even watching at that point. I watched it like 10 minutes. And then 1-1, like Liverpool kept on coming back and they played better, like... It was
a nice goal from Jota, though, for that second goal.
But... yeah, with like Chelsea and Arsenal in the A-League, FA Cup finals, like even though Chelsea will be dominating that whole year, there's just something about, I remember, like there's just something about Arsenal winning like FA Cups.
It's just what they're known for,
yeah,
isn't it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
so like, and then what happens? They win the FA Cup, even though Chelsea were like dominant on like every sports, like all the betting like things. So yeah. Just because, like, obviously it's a different team. And like this year, we've got Lukaku playing for Chelsea and, like, 10 years ago, Drogba. Like, it's a completely different team and just, like, I don't know, some teams get...
Which is, like, back to that round 1 stat. It's like, there's been 8 years since the start of that stat. Completely different teams, new coaches. They've won a premiership since then. You know, had people retired, new people have come through. Look, I think that kind of wraps up the footy part for this week.
Definitely.
Coming up to everyone's favourite segment, the selection table. You know, it's a big one this week. All right. So,
what have you got for us?
First up on the selection table, I've got pints or beer. I had beer originally, but I changed it to pints afterwards.
Yeah, which is very topical because we headed to the F1s yesterday and they had a deal. It was $8 pints.
Great Northern pints. We love them.
We don't. Like, oh yeah, that sounds nice. Just nice refreshing beer on a Sunday at Crown. Wasn't in the sun, so beer in the sun's a lot better. And also having a frothy after like a hard day. But,
elite. Yeah.
We've only really just woken up with a bit of a midday beer. Inside as well, not good vibes, but yeah, not really where you want to be drinking a big bowl of soup.
It's just the first one went down alright. It was good, and I was like, okay. The second one came in. Yeah. That one was a bit iffy.
Even the first one, I was just like, even the day before, I had a few frothies, and normally I'm not a big beer drinker. I normally start on beer, and then as the night goes on, kind of shift towards something a bit more lighter, a bit more youthful.
A couple of vodka lemonades or
like I need to get some hairs on the chest, so I go for the beer, and then once I know I've got enough hairs on the chest, I go towards like the shit house. Yeah, I hate for passion only because my old coach gave me one for free. It was vodka cranberry.
They're elite. Nah. So good. Are you serious?
Yacked it all out like 10 minutes later. I was like,
no, they're so good.
I don't know. I can have vodka V's, vodka Red Bulls. I can have all those.
Yeah.
Nah, as soon as you give me cranberry, I don't know what it is, man. But no, I didn't like it. Or at least that night I didn't like it. I'm saying Pints. Back to pints.
Back to pints. So we're going to go instead of beer, pints.
Yeah. Nah.
Down to the twos. For me, they're down to the twos, I reckon.
It's
too much. I'm sorry. It is too much. Like,
I mean, pint is a measurement. So, like, a pint of Milo, a pint of milk, yes. But our best mate Raj loves a pint of milk. Don't you, Raj? Loves a pint of milk. Goes straight to fucking Lookout at Scarborough. Shout out Lookout, Scarborough. And gets a pint of milk. But, yeah, nah. For a pint of
pints,
beer,
fraud watch.
Down to the twos.
I was even saying I'd put them down to the twos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bye-bye pints, we go. Second one up on the list came out this weekend, or last week, Lego Star Wars.
I can't really talk on it too much yet, but I've seen
just as a collective, but as also from like not just this new game, but from back then as well.
So obviously, Star Wars Lego, the Skywalker Saga came out last week, and it was on my radar. I've been looking out for it for the last 2 years maybe. It's been on the books for ages, but they finally released it, and yeah, looks pretty cool.
It's an insane game. It's so much fun.
The graphics, even though it's a Lego game, the graphics look.
I've been saying this. You asked Clay. I've been saying this. Like, the graphics are so sick especially for a Lego game. Like, it's so nice.
And Lego games aren't foreign. Like, I've generally only really played the Lego. Like, I don't know when they released them, but they had the old Lego Star Wars games, and I've really only played those Lego games. But they have Marvel, have Lord of the Rings.
Batman Lego used to be insane. Like, on PlayStation 2, I used to play the Star Wars Lego or Batman. That was so good.
Yeah, so, we do love the Lego, and I really want to play it so bad. Looks generally, I've watched a little bit on Twitch, and yeah, I rate it.
I'm bringing that up to the ones.
I'm bringing it up to the ones. Love that shit, man.
Lego Star Wars is joining Logan Paul as a wrestler, WWE Logan Paul. They're the first two people in the ones.
Yeah.
So moving on, we watched it a little bit. We watched it yesterday as we were waiting for the Formula One to start. The UFC was also on, and we have next up on the selection table is Alexander Volkanovski. So you saw the fight yesterday.
Yeah, I think he's.
Look, you're not really like a massive UFC fan. I'm not asking to go in depth about him or anything like that. But what was your thoughts as a kind of UFC casual, I guess, of after watching it?
I was busy watching bloody Essendon versus Ale, one of the great matchups of the century. I don't know. I think he's a very obviously I can relate to his walkout song that he did. He came out to Land Down Under.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks like a good bloke. Looks like a nice bloke to chat to.
Type of bloke you want to be friends with on a night out. But look, what do you reckon? We bring it up after that performance yesterday, demolishing the Korean zombie. Yeah. Picked him apart. We bring it up to the ones.
Who can actually take him in a fight, you reckon, at the moment?
So, look, really, I actually made some notes about this. So, he's undefeated in the UFC. He's on 11 straight wins at the moment. Mm-hmm. Realistically, in the division, I don't think there's too many people that would be able to knock him off. Yeah. You're probably not going to know who it is, but people at home will. Henry Cejudo, Triple C, he retired 2 years ago. He's now rejoined the USADA testing pool, which you have to be in the USADA testing pool 6 months before you're able to compete. But it's looking that he's wanting to come back to either verse Volkanovski or Aljamain Sterling, who also fought yesterday. Yeah,
cool. What about Darren Till? What's he up to?
He's cornering Khamzat Chimaev.
Are they in the same weight class?
The Smash Bros. Are they?
No, I don't know. Well, that's just a random.
Darren Till's not in the Volkanovski, but with Kazmat, they are, yeah. But look, moving on, we'll bring Alexander Volkanovski up to the ones for sure. Last up on the list on the selection table for this week, so special episode 4. We have 4 topics. Mm-hmm. Golf is on the selection table. So the Masters has just finished today. Scotty Scheffler, shout out. What do you reckon?
I was generally watching it with my mate Mike at the footy clubs after the awards, and he came up to me and was like, "Yeah, how good's the golf?" I'm like, "Yeah, nah, not a really big fan."
Not a fan?
Nah, I don't know. I think it's just the household I've grown up to. Like, when you have people in your ear when you grow up being like, "Oh yeah, who watches golf?"
Yeah.
I just don't really rate it that much. I don't mind playing it. Don't mind having a little hit with the boys, but watching it, not a big fan. Not for me. Probably, I know people just genuinely do watch it. So yeah, probably stay in the twos.
Stay in the twos. Don't want to bring it up to the Look, that's diff golf. If I was making the choice, I'd be bringing you up to the ones. But look, Drew got the final say on this one, and you're saying now the twos where you belong. So
why
golf
do you,
is
why do you
in
love
the twos.
watching the golf?
Pardon?
Why do you love watching the golf?
It's just good, isn't it? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just I don't want to say relaxing, but it's just like they are at the top of like their game. They are especially with the Masters, they are like the absolute cutting edge, like pinnacle of kind of golfing. It's just insane. I watch basically any sport. I like seeing the two people compete against each other, and like I like seeing that competitive edge.
Yeah.
I like see who kind of comes out on top.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just something about it.
Do you know most of like the people that like say the top 10? Do you know all those names or not really? Like,
not really. Hey, like I just back I'd say like 2015 or whatever, 2016. I'd be able to name you like Jim Furyk and like Jordan Spieth and all that. Like I know a couple of them. They're still around. Like Rory McIlroy came second yesterday. Cam Smith came third. He's an Australian guy. Yeah. But not too much. Do
you like playing more than watching?
Oh, for sure. I love playing golf. Okay. I mean, look, golf isn't somewhere I'm like. Formula One is something where I'll make sure that I am home to watch it, or like footy or gridiron stuff like that. I'll make sure like I'll plan around to watch it. Yeah. Golf's one of those things where I'm not going to plan to watch it, but if I'm got nothing else to do and it's on TV, I'll watch golf for a couple of hours for sure.
Yeah, easy. Does that wrap up the second week?
Second selection table done. We have two people joining the ones this week. We have Lego Star Wars as a collection, and we have Alexander Volkanovski also joining the ones.
I'm just saying, like, I probably look like the biggest kid right now. Like, oh, he likes Lego Star Wars.
No, Lego Star Wars slaps.
Yeah. Nah, I throw off that. Like, when those games, I generally think they should bring out just remaster heaps of games.
Oh, honestly.
And I know they do, like, they kind of do it where, I'm not too sure about it, but Xbox bring out like the new Xbox, and then you can also backwards compatibility and like stuff like that.
Yeah, so they have it's called Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, and it's just like essentially it's like a subscription service. They have like they have a whole library, and then you pay for the subscription. You can go into their library and just download whatever game. Yeah. Basically, and they have let it just like you. I don't know. So with PlayStation, they haven't really let you do too much backwards compatibility.
Which I've noticed, which sucks because I've grown up on just pretty much PlayStation.
Yeah, apparently they're changing that though. So PlayStation are actually making their own Game Pass kind of thing for PS, and you're going to be able to play up the PS2 games apparently.
That'd be sick because I just wish. Obviously, or I guess they're changing it now where you can actually buy a PlayStation 5 like with no disc drive.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
Yeah, so it kind of sucks for those people. But if you do have a disc drive that like it's all like a CD. Like how can't like a PlayStation? Obviously, it can't make sense. Like different software and stuff like that. But it just makes sense that if you still have a PS2 disc, just put it in your PlayStation 5, and it should be able to work. Like, still both Sony.
It probably sounds so stupid to like some people that are technologically clued on.
How cool would that just be? Just like putting in AFL Evolution.
Not AFL. If I could fire up AFL Live for the first time again, take me back.
And it's annoying. Like my cousin, like he loves collecting old games.
Yeah.
And he legit. I went over to his house and he just puts like out in front of me. It's like AFL Live, Xbox 360. I'm like, oh my god, throw off that. But like I can't do anything with it. I don't have a PlayStation like 360. I don't even know if he has it. And because it's like an Australian game, pretty rare. Like it's not backwards compatible anyway. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, we love the nostalgia games. Especially Lego Star Wars. I rate that one this week.
It's a good one.
Oh, that's gonna be probably my favourite one for a while. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll have to up it for the next week. Then I'll up the stakes.
Yeah, we move on to F1, the rundown. Yep. Obviously yesterday we had the Australian. I was gonna say Australian Open, but it's not the Australian Open. The Australian Grand Prix. It was good. It was all right race.
Yeah, I think it's so much better when we obviously went to the Crown like to watch it on the sports bar there. It's so much better watching it with like a group of people. Yeah. Like there's so much more atmosphere. Like the atmosphere, I don't know. It kind of made, especially yesterday's race, where it was overall a relatively boring race.
Yeah, I think. That's your personal opinion. I think I guess having a group made it like a little bit better. But like sometimes just those type of races where nothing really happens, like you wish you were just at home watching it because like legit nothing happened. Like you couldn't celebrate something like happening. That was sick. But yeah, no, it was all right. The surprising one, and I saw heaps of TikToks on it when Lando's obviously getting interviewed with Alex Albon.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So I found that super funny. You probably know a bit more about it, but yeah, what happened there?
What, with Alex Albon or?
Yeah.
So okay, so basically, it was talked about a lot last year, and then obviously this year they kind of put it to the test. But like with kind of Pirelli and like the new tires, when they first brought in these new tires, like the rubber and shit like that, whatever they changed with them, they were scared that you would be able to do a whole race without needing to pit.
Yeah.
And then kind of teams really worked out like to get the absolute fast time, we're gonna have to pit. Due to regulations, like we have to pit, so may as well.
Of course, yeah.
Like work it out. But basically, Alex Albon got disqualified from qualifying on Saturday because he ran out of fuel on track. So
didn't even know that. No.
So on Saturday he ran out of fuel on track, so he was unable to provide a 1 litre fuel sample for the FIA. So failures to do that, you're disqualified. He starts from the back of the grid.
What was he gonna like? Do you know where he was gonna start or nah?
I think he got into Q2.
Yeah, wow.
I think so. What, top 15?
Yeah.
And so anyway, so he's starting from the grid, back of the grid. So Williams decided to try out, see how long these tires will last, and put the hard tires on.
So you reckon that was their game plan for the whole race?
Oh, 1,000% for sure.
Right.
Only because, like, well, yeah, he was able to complete the race without needing to pit. He only pit on the second last lap because you have to, under regulations, you have to stop once. So, like, I honestly, that 1,000% would have been their game plan the entire time. Would have been keep him on the hards and see how long he can go. Yeah. And hopefully either looking to potentially get a late safety car where you get like a free pit stop or something. Yeah. But I mean, he still got a point. I guess that's probably best case scenario in the end.
Oh, that's like huge. Like, I don't know, how many points did Williams even get last year? Like, not that many.
Yeah, I think like max 2.
Yeah, so like that's huge for. And I've kind of got a little bit of soft spot for Alex. Like, he seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, even I didn't know that was a rule until I saw a TikTok where even Lando was like surprised that he got a point.
Yeah.
But because all I saw was the last lap, everyone's kind of going through finishing, and I see Albon like slowly going down. I'm like, oh fuck, like, what's happened? Has he crashed or something?
Yeah.
Or the tires have like worn out, and then obviously that's the reason why. So shout out to him. That was pretty cool, and like pretty funny to see because it doesn't happen that often. I think.
Oh no, it rarely happens just because it's probably
is it one of the shortest like? So I don't even know about this, but obviously you've got the length of the track, right? And you've got like a time, and each track time lap is different, right? When you go around the whole world, do they make it kind of the same time overall? Say you got 56 laps, and then you got a minute 30, and then you got a track where you can do it in a minute, and they just have it like a lot more laps, if you know, or like that percentage of more laps. Is that how they do it roughly?
So I think it's a distance.
Yeah.
So I think from memory, I want to say it's 5 point something kilometers for Australia. Mm-hmm. And so, so I think it goes by distance, and that's how they work out the laps. I don't quote me 100% on it, but I'm pretty sure it's like a distance thing, not a time thing. But yeah. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Anything else that really happened?
Max blew off his engine. He
That's gonna hurt. I think that's gonna hurt him. Like, when it comes down to a crucial, like, I think Ferrari just gonna set off into the.
It was good seeing Charles kind of get out there. Yeah. I mean, did you see what George Russell said after he's getting interviewed, gets the podium finish third? And did you see what they were saying afterwards? What he said afterwards? So he basically they're asking him about what he thought his thoughts were on Max Verstappen, and he kind of turns around and goes that, it's good to be fast, but you have to finish the race first.
Oh yeah.
So
did Max say anything about that?
I didn't see any response from Max or anything.
What was the like F1 world like? Oh, he's like.
Well, it was a bit like, I don't know, people kind of poking at TikTok, taking the piss a bit, because when the Red Bull's going, it is obviously a lot quicker than the Mercedes.
Oh yeah.
But to be fair, like I was even saying the same thing when I got home yesterday. Like, it doesn't matter how quick you are if you can't keep the track. Two DNFs in 3 races, like it's insane. Yeah. I mean,
slow and steady kind of just genuinely wins the race, I reckon. And in F1's, obviously Hamilton hasn't done what he normally does, but like he can still build his season. And
100%, yeah.
By the time it gets to like, I don't know, last 8 races and he's getting like seconds and firsts and thirds, like it kind of adds up, and you never know what happens. Whereas Verstappen, like getting zeros compared to 22s.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it is no regulations, so like obviously they had those ironing out issues. I was talking, kind of brought up to you during the week, but I thought, leave it for the podcast. And we were talking about Mercedes and that kind of porpoising, why they're a massive reason why they're so slow at the moment. And I said, I found out why they have it. So this year's cars, obviously, they don't have as many winglets or anything. Yeah. Majority of the ground force comes from ground effect on the floor. And then the porpoising, we explained last week, kind of suctions to the floor, then breaks it, comes up, so the car's constantly going up and down.
Yeah.
They reckon that the reason why Mercedes have it so much worse than the other teams is because the Mercedes floor, because they're running like the slim, no side pods, the floor doesn't actually have anything to kind of grip, like kind of be stuck onto to keep it kind of more straight.
Yeah,
so because the floor is more flexible, the Mercedes car is seeing more of the porpoising issue, whereas if they had like a more stiff floor, they reckon they'll still have some of the porpoising, but it wouldn't be as bad if they would have side pods that kind of helped keep up the floor stable.
So you reckon the side pods is the real like?
I think it is a fact. I mean, if you look at Mercedes, who Charles was porpoising a lot yesterday, but they are by far the quickest track. They have the biggest side pods in the grid as opposed to Mercedes. So potentially there could be something in that.
Yeah. So I think that comes down to like what works, don't change it.
Yeah.
And they kind of a bit of innovation there. So yeah. Do you reckon so? Throughout the season, do you reckon they'll have like small, like what can they actually do to the car, to kind of get it back on track? Can they do much or not really?
So it's
probably really expensive as well.
There is like the budget cap that throws a new spanner into the works for this season at least. Kind of have to be a bit more like precise with the upgrades and kind of make sure they work. I mean, look, like Mercedes. So with the engine as such, there is a freeze on like a power unit freeze from the manufacturers. Yeah. So Mercedes wouldn't be able to change too much with the engine as a whole, but like as an actual car, like for sure. I mean, they're looking at bringing some more upgrades in with them to Imola, which is I think the next race. I think we're heading to Imola. Apparently they've got a package that they're looking to bring in there, so hopefully that'll help them unlock a bit more time. Yeah. I mean they weren't super quick, but they weren't too slow on the weekend. It was good seeing like them and McLaren having being amongst each other a bit closer.
Definitely. I think, obviously, you look at what George did, and you can't say, can't be too slow. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Well,
things. It's something about it, like, it made me feel some type of way yesterday when George is sitting in third. He's got Checo coming up his gearbox, and his race engineer hops on the radio and he goes, let him through if it's going to damage the tyres. We're more in keeping the tyres in check than racing him. And it's, I don't know, it's being a Mercedes fan, obviously it's maybe spoiled by winning that much, but from going back even last year to have if a race engineer was to say, oh, we're not fighting them, like let them go through kind of thing, like preserve the tyres, like it's not very nice to hear, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you reckon, because it's obviously George, and I think George, in the back of George's mind, he's like, oh, I've never got a third, like I've never got a second, but never got a podium. I generally want to do well. Do you reckon that was in the back of his mind as well? He's like, oh, stuff it, I'm just going to get an easy third, whilst he could have potentially, you never know, I guess the mechanics know best, and the engineers know best, but surely... And it happened last year where Hamilton would be like, oh, you guys stuffed me up, why didn't you keep me out or whatever. There's a few, I can't remember what the races were, but obviously they've got all the screens in front of them, and it comes back to, George is like, I'll just listen. I'm I guess a newish driver, first year driver for Mercedes. I'll just do what the boss tells me. If he really wanted to, do you reckon he could have stayed out, or do you reckon that there was no chance that he was better to hold off?
He ended up he ended up holding up, staying out anyway. He didn't have to pit. It was I guess it just kind of depends of obviously your kind of role within the team. George this is his first season with the team. He has been kind of groomed from he's a Mercedes Academy driver, so he's been within the team for a while, but yeah, it is a tough one because like they have all the F1 teams. They have like computers and they have strategists upon strategists working out what other teams are going to try to do, what they're going to try to do, how late they can pit, where they can pit, without losing as much time. So like sometimes it does come down to sometimes you just have to trust what the engineer is saying over the radio, and then other times like you see Lewis where like it's basically he's driving the car and he says like no I'm comfortable kind of he never says it on the radio. They have kind of codes and shit like that. You always hear him complaining about the tires, but he's the best tire manager on the grid at the moment. So like it comes down to personal preference a little bit as well, kind of with the drivers, but then it's more like the team will talk it over throughout.
No, I genuinely do love watching like George Russell at the Mercedes at the moment. Talking about new people to a new club or new team, pick any boy's name. We're gonna leave this man like anonymous.
Jack.
Jack. We're gonna go with Jack. So shout out to Jack. Not really. So basically this weekend after majority, pretty much every team from the footy club, whatever grades, whatever age group, we pretty much all had a win. Bit disappointing that it wasn't happy hour down at the club rooms, so couldn't get a few free more frothies. But anyway, we get an Uber to the local, do we name the nice, down at Hillary's, you probably know the club down there. The one where you walk in and you just get a nice smell of vomit as soon as you go in, like,
It's sticking to the floor.
Yeah, back at home. So we had a few drinks there, a few vodka lemonades.
The standard.
Get on to have a little bit of a dance on the floor, near the stage. Music pumping, and lots of liquids kind of get onto you that night. Normally it's like a drink gets spilled onto you, which is fine. Like I don't mind that. Obviously,
it's annoying, but it's annoying at worst.
Obviously not glass, but the little plastic cups get. The only way to get rid of one is on the middle of the floor. It's just chuck it on the floor and do a little back heel to the.
I feel so bad. Like
I guess it's better than like just throwing it away. Or
I hold on to mine and just leave it on one of the side parts. Yeah. But then you're standing around with an empty cup.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I'm at the very back of this club. Having a little dance with the boys, and then I'm feeling on the back of my calf a little bit of like just liquid. I'm like, someone's just accidentally tipped over a drink or whatever. And then the next thing I know, it's a bit more constant than that. I don't know what's happening. And then I'm like, old mate's having to piss into his little plastic cup. I'm like, it's a bit strange. Like the bathroom's only like over there,
probably 5 meters away.
The bathrooms, like obviously they're not very nice bathrooms.
They're not terrible though compared to some club bathrooms.
But yeah, they're not ideal, and obviously with COVID and stuff, like the bathroom line wasn't like there was no line to the bathroom anyway, so you could probably just walk straight in anyway. This guy Jack decides to piss into a cup, and then I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. And I thought that's funny. All the boys started laughing, and then I thought he might just like put it on the table and just leave it there. And it generally does look like a drink. Like that's the worst thing about it.
It looks like a vodka Red Bull.
Yeah, exactly. And he's had a good night and he's hydrated because it wasn't like it doesn't look like Coke either. It wasn't looking like dirty brown. It was like a nice. I don't even know. I'm going too into depth with this. But the next thing I know,
motherfucker's the piss professor.
Next thing I know, he's lobbed the piss in a cup, and he's lobbed it into the crowd. And piss goes everywhere.
No.
And then the rest of the night, I was just looking at this guy's hat, and he was wearing it backwards, and it's just as wet. I'm just like, that is piss, mate. And I just don't know, like, do you reckon that's happened? Like, do you reckon that's happened to you on a night out? Like, not because you just don't know about it. Like, you feel, someone's like throwing a drink. That's obviously the thing that you think about is like, that's not going to be piss that's been thrown everywhere.
Surely you would.
Yeah,
like,
hopefully.
There'd have to be a smell of some sort, surely.
Yeah.
Have I told you about the time I got pepper sprayed out at a...
Nah, go into it. What happened?
Okay, so we're at a classic nightclub, Club Humble in Northbridge. And so we're not going to name names, but I was in the smokers area with a girl that came to the cast with us yesterday.
Jamie.
Yep, Jamie. And so me and Jamie are out in the smokers area, and it's a rainy night, cold as fuck. So we're kind of like huddled up in the corner, just having a smoke, long night of clubbing. And at Humble, they've got kind of, how do you explain it? So it's basically kind of a room like that. There's an entrance here and an entrance here. It's not a room, it's like an outdoor kind of part. Yeah. And they've got kind of meshing on this side to stop people from jumping the fence into the club. You have to come from the actual entrance. So we're just sitting there talking, and then a hand kind of comes up over the gate and like into the meshing part. I'm like, that's fucking weird. And then the hand goes down, and then the hand comes up again and it's holding a can of deodorant, and it starts spraying this deodorant like into the fucking smokers area. And we're like, that's really weird. Like, why is he spraying deodorant? And then we're like looking at it. We're like, what the fuck? And then next minute, my eyes start stinging. And Jamie also goes, oh, my eyes are hurting. Fucked. And I'm like, I don't think that was deodorant. I was genuine petrified. I walked to the bathroom like blind, get help guided into the bathroom. Yeah. Wash it out of my eyes. And I was like, that is like, it was like top 5 worst thing I've had experience.
Is it like sunscreen times like 10?
It's just
in
like,
the eyes? Was it just burning?
Oh yeah, have you ever had DP on your hands and you've like touched your balls or something like that? Like imagine that feeling like on your eyes, but like not also being able to open them because you're kind of crying to try to get rid of it naturally. Yeah. So like you can't really see anything like that. It's just fucked.
So what happened after that? After in the bathroom?
Oh yeah, so I washed it out in the bathroom. Jamie also goes washes it out. We go back, we're like dancing and all that, and then like she starts like I'm fine. Like from it, I managed to wash it off and all that, and then she starts like crying again from it, saying her eyes hurting again, and because the guy that had sprayed it over the top, it had gotten in her hair, so every time she was dancing, her hair got in her eyes. It just kept happening, and by the end of it, her eyes were like bright red, like she looked like she'd been smoking weed. Her eyes like that bloodshot. It was fucked.
Oh, and then so did you continue go?
We tried dancing like half an hour afterwards. It was like we're done. We're like time to head.
That's so funny. I don't think I've ever... I've definitely never been pepper sprayed. I hope I never do. That's actually like a weird thing to do, like on a night out.
Oh, and it happens, and we come out and we're like, do we tell security? Like security can't really do anything.
Was it just you two as well?
They went inside.
Or was there other like...
It was just us two because we were the only two like in the smokers area. So like there were other people. So hold up, there were other people in the smokers area that saw it happen. Yeah, we were the only two like in that corner. Yeah, and that actually happened too. So yeah, that's horrible. That's rough. I'd hate that because like you're just enjoying a night out and then it ruined the rest of the night out. Yeah. Like it wasn't even that late. It was like 12:30 or something like that, like 12 o'clock. Like, it wasn't super late for like a night out kind of standards. Like looking at home at 1 or 2.
I've got another story. Everyone calls him Sauce. I don't know what his actual name is, but everyone has a sauce at the club, whether they're Ranger or we had a mate at school, we called him Meatball, and it could be Meatball Sauce, I don't know where you get his nickname from, but Meatball, Sauce brings like a nice button up top, and the boys get around him, like we love this guy, and I think he got an award that night as well in I think it was Colts 2s, and so he's enjoying his night, and the buttons are slowly getting like slowly down, and then next thing you know, he's got the shirt off, and he's like in the middle of the club on the weekend, and generally you're definitely not allowed to do that at a club, but we're like, oh fuck it, and then the best thing to do is try and get a hold of the shirt, and so one of the other boys grabbed it and we were just hiding it from him, and then the next thing you know, we have like, it was for a solid 5 minutes as well, which I don't know how security didn't spot him. Like, shit, security.
Just shirtless.
Yeah, just shirtless.
To be fair, is it the club in Hillary's?
Yeah.
They definitely have bigger things to worry about than all being shirtless.
But yeah, after like maybe 5 minutes, we have a guy next to me. He's like, oh yeah, where's your shirt, mate? We're going to have to kick you out. And then found it again. And he got his shirt back on. He was fine for the rest of the night. But yeah, it's just a different culture, the footy boys. Like, I guess
we love it though.
Yeah, we do love it. Do you have anything else from the weekend that went off?
Nothing else really.
What we're gonna do is, last week obviously did the hurdle, and today's one was pretty tricky. But what we're going to do is we're going to do the footy version called Worpel. So obviously James Worpel plays for Hawthorn. I'm pretty sure that's where it comes from. So we're going to bring it up on my laptop right now. All right.
Still off on screen. Who do you reckon?
So normally, I've played like a couple times. They give you a few categories. Obviously, you can only guess a name, but you want to try and guess, obviously, like a state the state that the team's in. So there's 8 teams in Victoria.
Right. Yeah. We got the how to play up on screen now.
Yeah.
Green in any column indicates it's a match. Yellow in the team means it shares one or more of the colours. In the state column, it means, if it's a yellow in the state column, it means that the player plays in a bordering state.
Yeah.
Position means it's a partial match to the player's position. And then yellow in any other column, it just means it's within 3 units of whatever it's measuring.
Yeah. So I think the easiest way to go is it's probably too strategic, but I want to get it in obviously one guess. I don't think we'll ever get it in one guess. But I'm thinking a Victorian club player that is around number 15, 14, because as soon as you know what number it is.
Well, look, after having a look at the silhouette that I popped up on screen.
The silhouette, yeah.
Look, I low-key wanted to say Chad Wingard, just because the hair it seemed like that. He's a Melbourne-based player, could be a good shout.
I could go Chad.
Chad?
Yeah.
Oh, so he plays in Victoria, debuted later than 2012.
Yeah.
Younger than 28.
And his number's higher than 20. So.
Yeah. And he probably plays backline because he's not medium forward.
I can go for a mid first, maybe.
Yeah.
A mid that's high in Victoria. Higher. I'm thinking. Go for a team. Whoa.
Who's running in your head right now?
No, I reckon defender. Because a high number, normally you gun mids.
Who could that be?
Yeah. Got a slick back or something like that. Got coma.
Is it do you reckon it's a defender or he's not very tall, so he's rolls out kind of ruckman. He's shorter than 183 centimeters.
Oh yeah, true.
So it could be even a midfielder. Who?
It's Caleb Daniel.
Is it Caleb Daniel?
Yeah.
It is Caleb Daniel, my man. All right.
I just stare at people's profile pictures. That's all I know. It's Caleb Daniel. Nah. Right. That's funny because as soon as I see small, I'm like, oh, small, and then just that hair,
yeah.
It away.
But look, we'll just make this a weekly thing. Yeah. The Worpel, but that's done.
I think we've pretty much wrapped up today's episode. Just remember, don't be a flog like Raj, and send your mates on a Tuesday night when you're just vibing. You just obviously had the weekend's footy that you've probably down a couple $100 from losing all your bets, and then your mate being like, yeah, hop on this. What do you reckon? 27 leg bet on Tuesday. But yeah, don't be that type of flog. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you next week. We'll come back with a Wordle or a hurdle and definitely a Worpel next. I'm a fucking gunner at this, man. But yeah, like and subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Catches.